Hello my dear friends, welcome back. In this video I'm showing you another journal book. I haven't finished it completely, but I'm just gonna show you some pages. I can say I finished, but some of them I really can have more. I mean, like, you can always add, Sometimes you feel like there's no end if you keep going. It's really up to what you feel. So this is a journal book from Kmart, just like a cheap budget one. I think again the house brand of Anico. And I have actually not used a lot of gesso in here, so I've got to the conclusion like no gesso, no problem. Because if you're a beginner and you don't have gesso, or you really don't have, the budget to invest in a gesso bottle for now, I mean, like, no problem. You can maybe use watercolor paper regardless of, brand or type. If you're doing collaging, here I'm mainly used old books, and it actually is an old novel book, really old, so it's forgiving, absorbing a bit of water. And probably try not to use a lot of water in your media, like if you're using watercolor or acrylic or so. Just don't be so generous with the water. It might buckle a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's a journal. I mean, like, you can close it, put some weight on it. Yeah, you can use alternatives. I mean, like, if you have white acrylic, why not? If you have modeling paste, if you have whatever, you can actually, just use what you have, really. See, I meant in this book really not to use a lot of gesso to see, and you can hardly tell unless you really wanting that gesso add on it, like the white areas and things like that, which you can actually use alternatives again and again. So yeah, so sometimes it's just like no plan. I just sit down and cut some papers, just glue them down, and I've mainly been using glue sticks, because that tends to stick better in this kind of not very high quality paper, because the very expensive higher quality, and not really higher qualities, let's say the thicker papers, the higher weight, these papers are coming into like how many what's the word, I mean, like when you see the description, how many grams is it, I think something like that, it tells you, you would get the idea of how thick the papers are and how absorbent they would be expected to be. Yeah, so anyway, those technical terms. If you use something like Mod Podge or gesso, I felt like it buckles a bit more when you are not using thick paper, or you probably will have to stick few pages together. I think I've actually went through that book very quickly while I'm chatting, so I might just go a little bit backwards and a bit slower if possible. I just yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to how fast I'm flipping through, because I was mainly focusing on the gesso matter. So no gesso, guys, no problem at all. This book, I hardly used any gesso. I would probably say maybe I haven't even used gesso at all in this one, but let's say 99%, because I can't really completely 100% remember if I used a little bit on one of them, but I think probably not. Lately I've been into, old pages, musical notes, and yeah, that vintagey kind of theme. This mix of colors, the patina effect, where things look like it's rusted and greenish, and yeah. So this one I didn't do much. It was just as if I was stamping this here. I've done that while this is wet. Yeah, so we're actually going to through the same book, but backwards. And I hope the video will not be too boring or too long. And I hope it's not so quick or rush through either. And to be hopefully very clear. I'm still in the process of tidying up and setting up, like putting on the proper stand and organizing. So I'm really still again shooting with my phone in one hand. And here we are, back to the first page. Thank you so much for joining me into this quick journey through that book. I hope you liked what you saw. And if no gesso, guys, no problemo. You can still manage. Thanks for watching. Bye.